Nous sommes soldats,
combattants
pour crier
sur le nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Nous sommes vaillants,
c'est
de la
parole au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Nous sommes
vaillants,
cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Nous sommes vaillants, cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Quels qu'ils soient les effets,
nous conquérons. Au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
quels qu'ils soient les menaces,
nous conquérons. Au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
quels qu'ils soient les mensonges,
nous conquérons. Au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
quels qu'ils soient l'adversité,
Jésus, nous conquérons.
nous sommes vaillants, cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Nous sommes vaillants, cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Nous sommes vaillants, c'est de la parole
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
Nous sommes vaillants, cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
quels qu'ils soient les mensonges, quels qu'ils soient les menaces, quels qu'ils soient l'adversité, quelles que soient les persécutions, nous sommes vaillants, cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
nous sommes vaillants, c'est de la parole
au nom de Jésus, nous conquérons.
nous sommes vaillants, cités à dessein
au nom de Jésus.
Prenez garde à vous-même, de crainte que vos cœurs ne s'appesantissent par les excès du manger et du boire et par les soucis de la vie, et que ce jour ne vienne sur vous à l'improviste. Car il viendra comme un filet sur tous ceux qui habitent sur la face de toute la terre. Veillez donc et priez en tout temps, afin que vous ayez la force d'échapper à toutes ces choses qui arriveront et de paraître debout devant le Fils de l'homme.
Et je vis sortir de la bouche du dragon, et de la bouche de la bête, et de la bouche du faux prophète, 3 esprits impurs, semblables à des grenouilles. Car ce sont des esprits de démons qui font des prodiges, et qui vont vers les rois de toute la terre, afin de les rassembler pour le combat du grand jour du Dieu Tout-Puissant. Ils les rassemblèrent dans le lieu appelé en hébreu Armageddon. Puis, je vis monter de la terre une autre bête, qui avait 2 cornes semblables à celles d'un agneau, et qui parlait comme un dragon. Elle exerçait toute l'autorité de la première bête en sa présence, et elle faisait que la terre et ses habitants adoraient la première bête, dont la blessure mortelle avait été guérie. Elle opérait de grands prodiges, même jusqu'à faire descendre du feu du ciel sur la terre, à la vue des hommes. Et elle séduisait les habitants de la terre par les prodiges qui lui étaient donnés d'opérer en présence de la bête, disant aux habitants de la terre de faire une image à la bête qui avait la blessure de l'épée et qui vivait. Et il lui fut donné d'animer l'image de la bête, afin que l'image de la bête parlât, et qu'elle fit que tous ceux qui n'adoreraient pas l'image de la bête fussent tués. Et elle fit que tous, petits et grands, riches et pauvres, libres et esclaves, reçussent une marque sur leur main droite ou sur leur front, et que personne ne put acheter ni vendre sans avoir la marque, le nom de la bête ou le nombre de son nom. C'est ici la sagesse. Que celui qui a de l'intelligence calcule le nombre de la bête, car c'est un nombre d'hommes, et son nombre, c'est 666.
Including terror, security, and entertainment, the chip has been promoted and integrated into society. In 2001, following the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the Jacobs family became the first family to be injected with microchips in front of a live television audience.
We have a Florida family who are really pioneers in a brave new world. They have volunteered to be the first ever to have microchip identification devices implanted into their body.
After 9/11, I was really concerned with the security of my family.
In 2004, the FDA approved the use of RFID technology to be implanted into human beings. However, studies dating back to the 1990s show the implantable microchip has been linked to cancer in animals. But this has not slowed the agenda of control. In Barcelona, trendies get chips in order to receive VIP status at the exclusive Baja nightclub. A simple swipe of the arm gets them in without a line, and it pays for their drinks too. The Mexican government also chipped employees for security measures in 2004.
We were interested today to hear that more than 100 law enforcement officials in Mexico are having microchips implanted in their arms. The chips allow a person to be scanned, sort of like a cereal box at the supermarket checkout.
Mexico's Attorney General and 160 of his deputies have had microchips implanted in their arms. It is to provide access, said the Attorney General, to the right people in exclusive areas.
Today, aside from being promoted as a device that can save your life by storing all of your medical information in it, it is being promoted as the next generation tool for video gaming. Sega developer Yu Suzuki plans on developing gaming technology using implantable RFIDs. He states, people that have some sort of chips in their bodies, to be able to keep track of vital signs. So it doesn't have to be a scary thing, but you could put a sensor here. You know, a bit like the Matrix, as he points to his arm. It's not really something only in the future. Some people already have them, chips in their bodies. Suzuki is correct. It has never been easier to order a microchip online and implant it under your skin. Microchips implanted in your hand, arm, or shoulder is just the beginning. Some have already taken implantable brain chips that may enable the blind to see again, the deaf to hear, and much, much more, including the ability to download information directly into the brain and instantly communicate with anyone in the world, creating a worldwide mind.
It's very interesting that the way that the New World Order is going, is moving towards a system that is identical to that, whether it's going to be an implantable microchip, an RFID, a thumb scan, whether it's going to be some sort of a tattoo.
Imagine a planet where every human being is required to be chipped at birth. This would be the final tool implemented in a command and control world government system in which the elite rule the masses with total control of their lives.
This is, of course, a terrible predicament for those of us who are convinced that this system is slowly but surely destroying this country and has to be changed. But we can't count on the elected presidents to do it, and we can't count on the elected Congress to do it. We somehow have to mobilize the technological resources of the internet to create some kind of new political force in this country.
So is there anything else about the ruling class we should know? Politicians, business leaders, and media figures are often portrayed as pillars of morality while they describe themselves as Christian conservatives. Nothing could be further from the truth. In reality, many of the elite are groomed at a young age to take part in occult rituals. Those who attend Yale are indoctrinated into the Order of Skull and Bones, an elite secret society cloaked as a fraternal order.
Yale University is 300 years old this year, and were you to visit its campus, you would see that it still has exotic clubhouses, which look like tombs where Yale's legendary secret societies meet. Their prestige and importance have largely evaporated, but the rituals are still a secret. And so when we heard that some enterprising characters had managed to spy on the famous Skull and Bones Society, we couldn't resist.
Skull and Bones, people say it's a fraternity at Yale University, but it's really a postgraduate organization. So it was founded in 1832, and it's not like a normal fraternity. People don't pledge. These people choose who they want to come. So they do the recruiting. They recruit 15 people every year, people who they see are going to be powerful people in the future. So they're recruited when they're a junior in college. A lot of these people come from really wealthy and influential families because they know that this person has the resources to then elevate them to a position of power that can benefit the club.
The video shows the neophytes, or initiates, kissing a skull, then performing a mock human sacrifice. Horrific screams caught on tape include chants of, "The devil equals death, death equals the devil."
True. Famous alums include senators John Kerry and John Chafee, to name two, cabinet secretaries such as Averell Harriman, and 3 presidents, William Taft, George Bush, and George W. Bush, who's been reluctant to talk about Skull and Bones.
Does it still exist? The thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
Former Skull and Bones members and current members have been presidents, heads of the CIA, senators, heads of business. I mean, huge, huge corporations. These people have the network that brings them to such a position of power that most people could only dream of.
Bush would run against his fellow bonesman and distant cousin John Kerry in 2004.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322? This is an elaborate occult ritualistic entry into this group that they are now a member of for life.
This culture of death in the occult continues long after college. Later on in life, these pagan rituals carry on in the redwoods of Sonoma, California.
And what is the Bohemian Grove? Well, it's a kind of summer camp for the powerful, an all-male gathering in great secrecy.
This group was formed in the late 1800s by artists, industrialists, and politicians. Bohemian attendees worship the owl as their deity. The Aztecs, Mayans, and other natives of Mesoamerica considered the owl a symbol of destruction and death. This is why the opening ritual for the club is the cremation of care. During the ritual, the effigy of a baby is rowed across the water by the Grim Reaper and given to a high priest, who then tosses it on a fiery sacrificial altar of a 40-foot owl god. It is an earth-based ritual in which care is burned away. The conscience is symbolically cast aside so that they may ignore the pain they have inflicted on others for the advancement of their own agendas.
With this ceremony called the cremation of care, that begins the two-week encampment where the body of dull care, symbolizing woes and concerns, is burned on an altar in front of a big owl statue. When that ceremony ends, they all start to cheer and yell.
You have to ask yourself why it is that somebody would want to do that, let alone these elite people. And if you look at the elite throughout history, many of the people that achieve pinnacles of power are into the occult. They seek a supernatural way to gain power.
Why are Christian conservatives such as the Bushes and Newt Gingrich attending the Grove?
And I recognize I'm not going to be invited to Renaissance Weekend or that Bohemian deal where Newt, Rush, and Dick all sit in a teepee naked beating on tom-toms.
Why does the media barely mention the Grove? Because many of them are in attendance. Late political cartoonist Phil Frank of the San Francisco Chronicle draws a reporter thinking about his loyalties to Bohemian Grove as he takes notes for a story.
Stories about what happens in these redwoods are hard to come by. A campground statue reminds Bohemians to keep their mouths shut about the Grove.
Many world events have been shaped at the Grove, including the creation of the atomic bomb.
Discussions at the Grove in the 1930s helped lead to the development of nuclear power and the atomic bomb.
Every Republican president since Calvin Coolidge has been a member, as well as many Democrats, including Jimmy Carter.
If you look at the membership lists of the Bohemian Grove and the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, a lot of the key level people are overlapping and are involved in numerous groups.
In addition to pagan rituals that take place there, this all-male club also deals with darker themes through the plays Montezuma, which feature Aztec human sacrifice, and Faust, which feature Mephisto. Some of these plays are disturbingly flamboyant. Many of the elitists have a penchant for cross-dressing and singing show tunes. Perhaps that is why much of the all-male staff also happen to be homosexuals.
Well, each year, many of them seem to have a stunt or try to come up with a stunt. Last year, in 1980, the popular button was Free the Fortune 500.
Bohemian Grove that I attend one time at a time. It is the most faggot goddamn thing you will ever imagine.
In 2004, the New York Post reported that gay porn star Chad Savage would be servicing moguls at the Bohemian Grove. In recent years, several politicians have been outed in scandals, including Senator Larry Craig, who tried to solicit sex from an undercover officer in 2007. Even more shocking, it was revealed in 2004 that right-wing blogger James Guckert, who had unprecedented access to the White House during the Iraq War, was actually Jeff Gannon, a madam and male prostitute for MilitaryStuds.com. During his 2 years writing for GOP USA and Talon News, Gannon officially made over 200 appearances at the White House. Oddly enough, over 24 of these visits would take place when there were no scheduled briefings. He failed to check in or out with the Secret Service on many other occasions, coming and going as he pleased. These type of activities are not new to the White House. In 1989, headlines involving callboys in the White House rocked the cover of the Washington Times.
The Washington Times reported today that unidentified White House aides in the Carter, Reagan, and Bush administrations now are being investigated for using the services of a callboy ring. The paper reports that 2 of the male prostitutes were given a late-night tour of the White House last year.
Hundreds of credit card receipts obtained by the Washington Times confirm that its clients were key officials of the Reagan and Bush administrations military officers, congressional aides, and U.S. and foreign businessmen with close social ties to Washington's political elite. This ring extended beyond the White House and into Congressman Barney Frank's bedroom.
Barney Frank, one of 2 openly homosexual members of Congress, acknowledged having used a male prostitute, whom he then hired as a personal employee. The man had keys to Frank's basement apartment on Capitol Hill. Frank paid him approximately $20,000 out of his own pocket to be his housekeeper and driver. But as first reported in today's Washington Times, the man was on probation for sex crimes and a drug conviction, and he ran a prostitution business out of Frank's home.
Although Frank tried to claim ignorance, Stephen Goby, the prostitute in question, claimed that Frank was completely aware of what was going on, and was even receiving free and discounted sexual services. The fix seemed to be in. Frank was threatening members of Congress to remain silent prior to being exposed in this sex ring.
Massachusetts Democrat Barney Frank, a homosexual, threatened to expose fellow congressmen he knew to be gay unless they stopped spreading rumors.
Questions stopped and Frank walked away with a slap on the wrist. Some members of the Ethics Committee were disgusted.
Do we tolerate, do we condone a member of this body who knowingly permits a house of prostitution to be operated out of his residence?
You have just heard one of the most edited, selective garbage that has ever been put forth, in my opinion, in this House.
Again, we see people of the highest levels of power involved in the most repulsive and decadent of crimes.
They couldn't care less about the code of conduct that's taught in all major religions about treating others the way that you want to be treated. And then they masquerade, they put this false front on that they're like everybody else, because your average person wants to do right, believes in some sort of a karma, believes in some sort of a divine justice in the universe. And so these people need to put on this front that they're like the average Joe in middle America, that they go to church every once in a while, and that they believe in an afterlife and a divine justice. And so they have to put on this front that they're like everybody else in order to get elected and to be
Là, le Saint-Esprit ne sera plus sur la terre. En ce temps-là, il ne sera plus sur la terre. J'ai commencé à avoir un trafic énorme. J'ai commencé à avoir des accidents. Toutes les personnes qui étaient appelées avant, il me dit, ils chercheront la mort, mais la mort ne sera plus. La mort ne sera plus dans ce temps-là. Et précisément, j'ai commencé à voir que là, il y avait des personnes amères. J'ai commencé à voir comment circulaient des revues qui disaient « Des millions de personnes ont disparu ». Beaucoup de ceux qui savaient que Christ venait pour un peuple saint, et aussi ceux qui avaient connaissance de sa parole, pleuraient dans les rues. Il y en avait tant, mais ils ne pouvaient rien faire. Et le Seigneur ferma l'écran et il me dit, je viens là chercher un peuple saint. Je viens bientôt chercher mon Église. Veille sur ce que tu fais pour accomplir ce que je t'ai demandé. Dis à mon peuple que je reviens d'ici peu. Dis à mon peuple que je reviens déjà. Le Seigneur me dit, dis à mon peuple que je reviens déjà. Et que je viens pour un peuple saint. Dis à mon peuple que c'est seulement les saints. C'est seulement les saints qui me verront. Le temps est proche. Le Seigneur a permis de signaler et révéler à l'humanité ce qui arrivera. Aujourd'hui, c'est le temps du salut. Et que tu invites ta vie à ton unique sauveur, Jésus. Prends ce temps de choisir ta destinée. La vie ou la mort. Le ciel ou l'enfer. Jésus ou le diable. C'est très clair. D'appartenir à Dieu ou d'appartenir au diable. De faire le bien ou de faire le mal. Ton choix sera ta destinée. Vie éternelle ou étang de feu. Réfléchis. Fais le choix. Décide maintenant. Jésus-Christ est mort sur la croix pour chacun d'entre nous, pour nos péchés, et nous a donné l'opportunité d'être sauvés par sa miséricorde. Accepte Jésus comme ton unique sauveur. Tous l'ont écouté et l'ont vu. Que ce moment, vous le viviez comme un appel. Ne vous condamnez pas pour l'enfer éternel.